So, our today's topic is skin and bone. Today we are going to discuss the cutaneous manifestation in rheumatological disease. So, why this topic? In rheumatology, cutaneous manifestations are very common, and sometimes the skin manifestation is the earliest symptom, or sometimes it is the only problematic symptoms the patient presents with. Although some of the skin manifestations are non-specific, most of them are characteristics, and their gross appearance or the histological findings can give us the diagnostic clue. As well as sometimes the skin manifestation can give us the prognostication clue in certain rheumatological conditions as well. So we will divide these skin manifestations grossly into three parts: manifestation associated with the diagnostic clue, skin manifestations which are just have the association with rheumatological conditions like other infections, and manifestation associated with the drug therapy which we usually use in rheumatology. We will have few snapshots of certain diseases. It is not possible to cover each and every skin manifestation, but we will cover some important one. Okay, so what is this? So, as we all know, this is a thick erythematous flat and raised rash which is seen over the nasal bridge as well as both of the malar prominences. It is called as a butterfly shaped rash. If we see carefully, there is a sparing of the nasolabial fold, and this is called as a malar rash. And this is the one of the diagnostic criteria from systemic lupus erythematosus as per the ACR guidelines. ACR is American College of Rheumatology. So, American College of Rheumatology has 11 diagnostic criteria. One is the entering criteria and 10 are the diagnostic criteria. Out of that, 4 criteria are cutaneous manifestation. So, one of these is malar rash. So, when we see the malar rash, it could be the one of the diagnostic criteria for the diagnosis of the systemic lupus erythematosus. So, this is the first criteria. Then what is the second one? So, this is the second rash. This is called as a discoid rash. If we see, this is the red inflamed patch with scaling and crusty appearance. The central area is much lighter in color, and there is a reddish rim which is lighter than the surrounding normal tissue. If chronicity increase, this can lead to the scarring and hair loss as well. This can be seen on the scalp or trunk or on limbs or face as well. So, discoid rash is categorized as the second diagnostic criteria for the diagnosis of the systemic lupus erythematosus. And sometimes it is the earlier presentation. This patient doesn't have any arthritis or any other symptoms, but sometimes this patient just present with the discoid kind of rash. And there is a 5 to 10% of risk of developing such patient into systemic lupus erythematosus. The two other criteria which are included as per the ACR guidelines are oral ulcers and photosensitivity. So these are the 4 criteria. One is malar rash, discoid rash, photosensitivity and oral ulcers. So these 4 cutaneous manifestations can give us the diagnostic clue towards the diagnosis of the systemic lupus erythematosus. Then this is our next slide. Is this the same rash which we have seen previously? Is this a malar rash? No. We will compare the both of these rash. If we see in first slide, there is a sparing of this nasolabial fold, whereas in this second slide, the nasolabial fold is involved because of rash. So this is, if we describe this rash, this is a reddish purple violaceous rash which has involved both the malar prominences, as well as this rash is also present around the lids, and it may or may not be associated with the periorbital edema. Also, the important feature is that it involves the nasolabial fold as well. So this is called as a heliotrophic rash. So heliotropic rash is one of the cutaneous criteria for the diagnosis of the dermatomyositis. So dermatomyositis has, for its diagnosis, there are one cutaneous criteria and other criteria. So one of the rash is included as a diagnostic criteria for the diagnosis of dermatomyositis. Here are few other rashes which we see in dermatomyositis. This is called as a Gottron's papules. If we see, this is the multiple hyperkeratotic flat red papules which is having the central atrophy. This is skin on the back of the metacarpophalangeal and interphalangeal joint. It is supposed to be due to perivascular inflammation. So these papules is also one of the diagnostic criteria. Is one of the diagnostic criteria for the dermatomyositis. So if we are talking about dermatomyositis, the few other skin manifestations are, this is called as a Scholl sign. So this is supposed to be due to the photosensitivity. So this is the erythematous rash which is spread in a V-shaped manner or shawl-like a pattern, hence called as a Scholl sign, which we can see over neck, upper back, chest and shoulder. So the three slides which we have seen previously, one of it can gives us the diagnostic criteria toward the diagnosis of dermatomyositis. Then this is the another kind of rash which is called as a erythema nodosum. If we see, this is a patchy erythematous nodule. These are the patchy erythematous nodules which are actually tender in nature, which may come as a single nodule or multiple nodule. Usually these nodules are seen over the shin of the tibia but can be seen on arms as well as on arms. This happens because of the paniculitis of the subcutaneous tissue and it is supposed to be type 4 hypersensitivity reaction. When erythema nodosum occurs, usually they disappears between 2 to 4 weeks without scarring, and sometimes the multiple crops of such kind of lesions may occur, usually seen in the young individual between the age of 15 to 14 years. Although rheumatological condition is not the common cause of such kind of rash, it is most commonly seen in the post-infectious causes like post-streptococcal infections or other infection. It is associated with certain rheumatological conditions. So rheumatological, I repeat, the rheumatological condition is not the commonest cause for this rash, but yes, it is associated with certain rheumatological conditions like sarcoidosis, lupus, Behçet disease or inflammatory bowel disease. The other rheumatological causes are post-streptococcal, tuberculosis, different bacterial and fungal infection and various drug induced, and infectious causes are more common cause of erythema nodosum. The importance of erythema nodosum in sarcoidosis is that it is supposed to be the good prognostication marker if we see this kind of rash in sarcoid cases. So if we are talking about sarcoidosis, this is the another kind of rash. This is called as a lupus pernio. So this is seen in the sarcoidosis, not in lupus. This is the purplish or purplish blue lesion. This is a waxy papules which is seen on the nose, cheek or lips. And whenever we find a lupus pernio kind of rash in the sarcoidosis, we must investigate the person for the systemic involvement like chest involvement or the neurological involvement. Hence, this kind of rash is considered as a poor prognostication marker in cases like sarcoidosis. Then this is the another kind of rash. If we see, it is actually very faint, but this is a net-like pattern of reddish blue skin discoloration which is mainly seen over legs. If we see, it will correlate with the capillary pattern and seems to be associated with the sluggish flow or deoxygenated hemoglobin. It is associated with the rheumatological conditions like APLA antiphospholipid antibody syndrome or cryoglobulinemia. Then this is the very common manifestation of rheumatoid arthritis patient, which is called as a rheumatoid nodule, almost present in 20 to 25% of the patients in the chronic course. And if we see, this is a hard flesh colored dome shaped nodule which varies from 5 mm to 50 mm in size, and it can be seen over the elbows, fingers and forearm. This is freely mobile beneath the skin. And rheumatoid nodule is usually associated with the severe form of RA positive rheumatoid arthritis patient. Hence, it indicates the chronicity of the disease and it indicates the poor prognosis. But as in few patients, it may present early as well. Then this is the another kind of rash which we see in the patients of rheumatoid arthritis. Almost in 5 to 10% of patients, it starts as a single or multiple small bullous lesion, and which is seen on the legs, abdomen, trunk or genital area, and then it progresses and it coalesces together and to form the large ulcerative granuloma, which is the painful necrotic ulcer having the purulent base, and there is a margin which is reddish blue in color and undermined in nature. So this is the characteristic of the pyoderma gangrenosum. Apart from RA, it can be seen in the other diseases like inflammatory bowel disease and some hematological conditions as well. The importance of this rash is that it is considered as the poor prognostication markers. So it needs the high dose steroids and other treatment, and when it heals with the scarring and hyperpigmented patches. This is the very common, this is the gouty tophi, which as we all know it is happens because of the accumulation of the uric acid crystals because of repeated and untreated attacks of the gout. Usually appears in chronic course after 8 to 10 years of the gout, which is not very well controlled. Then this is the morbilliform rash. It is very difficult to identify in dark colored individual because it is a very effervescent kind of rash, and this is visible only during fever and supposed to be due to dermal infiltration of the neutrophils. We can see such kind of rash in Still's disease. Then this is another kind of rash we are aware of. This is the thick red itchy patches which has the silvery white scales, and this is diagnostic of the psoriasis. Psoriasis is a skin condition, and when the patient of psoriasis comes with arthritis, it might be suffering of psoriatic arthritis. So this kind of rash usually present over the extensor surface like elbow, knee and trunk, and usually sometimes the arthritis precedes the rash in 10 to 15% of patients, but in other patients, this is the patient present with arthritis, he has associated rash as well. So it gives us the diagnostic clue towards the diagnosis of the psoriatic arthritis. These are only few snapshots of the scleroderma cases. This is the mask-like faces because of the thin tout skin. The other clinical manifestation in scleroderma could be telangiectasia, there could be the digital gangrene, and this is the saltpeter appearance. So all these three rash can give us the diagnostic criteria towards the diagnosis of scleroderma. Then this is the purpura kind of rash. This is the red purple colored spot present on the skin which do not blanch on pressure, and such kind of rash we can see on HSP, vasculitis and cryoglobulinemia. These are the other vasculitic rashes which we can see in leukoplastocytic vasculitis or vaginous or Chuck-Strauss, and secondary to vasculitis due to other rheumatological conditions like lupus or RA. This is the few ulcers which we see in the oral cavity. So recurrent, frequent, painful ulcers which are numerous in number present in the oral cavity, and if such more than 3 episodes in a year could be a diagnostic clue towards if they are associated with the genital ulcer and eye involvement, could be the diagnostic clue towards the Behçet disease. Before moving towards this slide, there could be certain other skin manifestation which could be due to associated infectious condition like herpes zoster or fungal infection. I haven't included that slide in this presentation. So last but not the least, the drug-induced skin manifestation in rheumatology. So what skin manifestation we come across due to the therapy we use in rheumatology? It could be the photosensitivity when we use the hydroxychloroquine. It could be the fixed drug eruption or Steven-Johnson syndrome or TANE, usually in sulfhydryl sulfasalazine or allopurinol. It could be the pseudoporphyria due to NSAIDs use. It could be the Sorifar reaction which we can see in tofacitinib and other biologicals like infliximab, adalimumab or etanercept. Anaphylactic reactions are also common due to the use of biologicals, and the cutaneous lupus is also the side effect of certain biological in very few 0.5% of the cases. So we will see only few slides of that. So this is the well-defined circular hyperpigmented plug, and this occurs in the one or few region in the fixed location after injection of the drug. So this is called as a fixed drug eruption, which we can see in NSAIDs or in sulfa drugs, which we usually use in the rheumatological condition. This is the more serious conditions, Steven-Johnson syndrome or pain. If the involvement of the skin is less than 30%, we call this as a Steven-Johnson syndrome. If it is more than 30%, we call it as a toxic epidermal necrolysis. So this is the mucosal discoloration with inflammation and peeling of the lips, and burning sensation, ulceration can be present all over the skin. And such type of reactions are very common with sulfa drugs, sulfasalazine, NSAIDs and allopurinol. So when the patient suffers any allergic reaction, we have to immediately stop the sulfa kind of drug. So thank you for your patient hearing, and